Marvel Superhero Island 101. So, like I said, we've done Hogsmeade, we've done Diagon Alley. We just kind of break down what's all in the land. We'll give you some fun facts. We'll give you some Easter eggs. We'll talk about our experiences and going to the land and what we love and everything. So I guess we should start with, where is Superhero Island, Jared?
It is in the Islands of Adventure side of things. So when you walk into Islands of Adventure, you kind of, once you go through the the main walkway,
that would be port of entry.
Port of entry.
Yes.
You can either go right or you can go left. If you go right, you go into Seuss Landing and all that. If you go left, you go right into Superhero Island.
Okay.
Basically. And some of you may be thinking, well, wait a minute. Marvel is owned by Disney. Why is it over here? And that's a very long conversation, other than
I can't even.
In the 90s, Marvel wasn't doing so hot, and they sold off the theme park rights, which Universal has. So essentially, once Disney...
East of the Mississippi.
Right. So once Disney bought Marvel, everything west of the Mississippi, obviously there's Disneyland has Marvel stuff. Everything east is what Universal controls. This is why Universal has it. And if Disney wanted it, they would have to get the rights from Universal to do that. They don't have the theme park rights for anything of like the MCU. Of the cinematic side, they don't. It's basically all based off of the 90s cartoons and comic books, essentially. So you're not...
Does that include the current comics too?
I
think it does.
It could, I suppose, but it as it is now, it does not. So it's both. If you watch the cartoons in the 90s, it'll all look really familiar to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we're not going to go into that too much today. We're just going to focus on what is there. So after you go through Port of Entry, you turn, you go to Marvel Superhero Island. What is the first thing you see that is the attraction to your, it's up and to your left?
So you kind of walk through it, which is the Incredible Hulk roller coaster.
Yeah.
So this opened May 28th of 1999.
Which is opening day.
Yes. And that they redid it a few years ago. They completely redid the whole track, I believe, 4 or 5 years ago?
Oh, not that long ago.
Okay.
Like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was down for like a year.
Yeah. So they've redone it since then, but it did open May 28th, 1999. The ride lasts 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and it is a big roller coaster. There are 7 inversions and 2 subterranean trenches, and the first launch when you come out of it is 150 feet.
And this is straight from Universal. It says, unleash your inner Hulk. You're volunteered to take part in a science experiment based on Dr. Bruce Banner's research, but a blast of gamma radiation changes everything. You launch up to 67 miles per hour as Hulk-like power propels you upside down into a zero-gravity roll, racing faster and faster. Hang on as this high-speed red line rampage smashes its way through the sky. And it was by, what was it, General Ross? He was the bad guy, right?
He is a bad guy.
Right. He's part. Yeah. He's basically part of this too, and it's all in the queue. You'll learn all about it in the queue, which you've never done.
Oh no, I haven't outridden this. I don't like roller coasters.
Yeah.
I love Hulk, but I do not like roller coasters. But I know the Hulk story. The General Ross is basically the Hulk was an experiment.
It's basically that. Yeah.
What you may not know is the Hulk. They were trying to replicate Captain America's super soldier serum, and it went awry, and he became the Hulk. So
it went awry.
Mm-hmm. But to ride this, you have to be 54 inches tall. And again, like many of the roller coasters at Universal, it has inversions and is very intense. So you have to store your belongings in lockers so it does not fall out and hit people. Because that is actually a thing to think about on these. So they don't want anybody getting hit by below or on the ride with things.
Yep. And fun fact, the Hulk figure that stands at the entrance is just 13 feet tall. He's not that big, but he looks big, but he's not.
Wait, you say that's not that big?
Well, I mean that's big, but like it's not big compared to like the roller coaster. I don't know.
It's big compared to a human. I mean, it's pretty tall. It is a cool figure though out there.
Also, fun fact, as I've said before, we were able to come to Islands of Adventure a couple weeks before it officially opened in 1999, and this is one of the rides we got to ride. And we sat here.
When you say we, who are you talking about?
I'm sorry. I should clarify. I should clarify. My mom, my dad, and my sister and I. And I was 14. She was 11. And we were really into roller coasters back then. So we were super excited to ride it. It was a very long wait because it kept not breaking down, but just having to like stop and do things because it was still in testing. So it was a very long wait to get on it. And when we got on the actual coaster, we sat there for like 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I mean, it was a lot of stop and go with everything the day we went. But that was the smoothest it's ever been and ever will be. So
yeah, I've heard it's not a very smooth roller coaster.
No, but it's very cool the way you go kind of through the water and like,
yeah,
not through the water, but you like go over the water and all the inversions and loops and stuff. So it's a very fun coaster. It's a little too rough on my head, my neck. So I can't really ride it anymore, but I remember liking it.
It's probably, would you say it's the most intense coaster at Universal?
Oh no, that's Velocicoaster.
Oh, well, okay. That's
Velocicoaster is the fastest but it's the smoothest. Hulk it's still fun. It's not the most intense. It's still really fun if you can handle all the head jiggling.
Okay.
Which I can't, unfortunately.
Head jiggling is a no-go for Jamie.
No. So, but yeah, that is the Incredible Hulk coaster.
Okay.
So let's move on to the next one, which is Storm Force Acceleratron.
Yes, this is one a lot of people don't know about.
It's tucked back there.
It's kind of tucked back here by the Hulk. So if you go past the Hulk, you'll see it back there. So this opened May 28th, 1999. And it is a teacups ride, but I liken it to a teacups ride on steroids a little bit.
Okay.
Is the way to kind of put this.
And Universal says, spin faster to summon Storm's power. The evil Magneto is plotting to take over the world. If Storm can harness enough thunder and lightning, she can blast him into oblivion. Board Professor Xavier's power generator and spin as fast as you can. The faster you go, the more thunder and lightning you'll create. The fate of the planet is literally in your hands.
So the way, first off, Jamie can't even touch this ride. This would make you,
No way.
I think if you sat down, it would instantly make you sick. So if you have motion sickness issues, this one I would say is a no-go. So what this is a mix of, it is teacups. Mm-hmm. So you spin, you have the little thing and you spin the wheel to make it go around and you can make it really fast. But also the other element to it is much like Alien Swirling Saucers in Hollywood Studios and the Mater ride over in Disneyland where it's that momentum. I don't know what kind of ride you call it, but it kind of goes around and swings you.
Yeah, like centripetal force.
Centrifugal force.
Yeah.
So it has that element with it as well. So you have that part plus the spinning part. So you can get going very, very fast and you get I can tell you right now, I don't get motion sick. I never got motion sick on this, but you can get incredibly dizzy on this.
Sure. I mean, I've only watched you do it, so.
Well, it's like if with both kids I do it with, our son, he's not as much into like, going crazy spin, but it's just me and my daughter. She wants to spin like crazy. Mm-hmm. You need a minute when you get off here. Like it takes you a second because it's a lot of spinning. But
well, speaking of our children riding with you, there is no minimum height requirement, so anybody can ride it.
Yes. So when you're in this and it's going around, it has like thunder and like little flashes of light. So you hear
like it amps up the longer you get to the very
end. It has a story to it, but it really doesn't need one, if I'm being honest. But it does. But the plus about this is it hardly ever has anything longer than like a 10-minute wait.
Yeah.
It rarely does. Because again, most people go back there for the Hulk. Mm-hmm. And then you have to go past the Hulk to see this. And a little bit, especially after COVID reopening, it wasn't open for a while.
That's right.
It took a bit. So it's a lesser known one, but our kids love it.
I don't know if it's lesser known. It's just not as, I don't think, it's just not as popular.
Well, until we started going to Universal a lot, I actually didn't even know it was there.
Oh,
and we had probably been a handful of times.
I mean, personally, I just always forget about it because I can't ride it. You know? So.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't think, and it's not something that's really talked about. Everybody talks about the Hulk and, Spider-Man, which we will talk about.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next ride in this land. It's Doctor Doom's Fearfall.
Another one I have not done. I'm not a fan of heights, but this opened May 28th, 1999, and it is located on Yancey Street, or also known as Villains Alley. So this is, if you're walking, you will walk in, you'll see the Hulk to your left, you keep going down the road, you'll see Spider-Man ahead of you, and if you take a left into, it is an actual alley, you will see Dr. Doom's Fearfall back there. You are shot 185 feet up and then down, and then it bobbles up and down a little bit, kind of. So you've seen these types of rides before. It lasts 30 seconds maybe.
Super short.
Yeah.
Super short. From Universal, they say faster than the space shuttle. Apparently, that is true. It shoots you faster up than the space shuttle.
Okay.
Dr. Doom is testing his latest invention, a machine that sucks fear out of people. His plan? Use the fear he collects as a weapon against the Fantastic Four. His henchmen will strap you into your seat, blast into the sky, and then, without a second to catch your breath, hurl you back down with a face-melting force stronger than gravity itself.
Sounds very intense. Dr. Doom, great villain. Fantastic villain.
You know more about this than I do.
Oh, he's
Dr.
an
Doom.
awesome villain.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of these types of rides. But
What's his name? Victor something?
Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom.
He's a good villain. I think he's probably the best villain in that Marvel has, if I'm being honest. But
Okay.
to ride this, you need to be 52 inches tall. And when you actually get done with this ride, it exits you through the arcade. So you can, there is an arcade in here that it's not just Marvel stuff in here, but it does have an arcade. So
We'll talk about that
Yeah.
more in a minute. But and something is kind of funny. It's like it's on this villain's alley. It's the only thing in this like side street.
there's nothing else back there. I need to go look there more. There might be some Easter eggs here and there, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's no other attractions back here. It's just Doctor Doom.
Yep. That is true.
But there is some shade back there. So if
Yeah.
it is a hot day and you're looking for maybe a little place to just kind of get out of the sun, it's not a bad place back there.
And I will say, like when you're at, I think when we were staying at Sapphire Falls, we were in one room and we could see like over to Islands of Adventure because it's not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
And Doctor Doom, you can see the towers
Yeah.
from your room, like right next to Hulk. So like it's one of those things you can see from afar that are kind of I wouldn't say like iconic, but
I wouldn't
just
say
an
No, I wouldn't say
icon-ish.
iconic. I mean, this is much more. It's a very much of a carnival type ride. You would see.
kind of
Nothing. I mean, if you think about it, teacups and this type of thing. The teacups has a little extra element to it, but you've seen these rides before, just not with this thing.
And you get more of the story in the queue, but it's not much. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's go to the last attraction of this land, and that's the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
This is my favorite one. This opened May 28th, 1999, and it is a 3D motion simulator, and it does last about 5 minutes. So you get a
Good amount of time.
Yeah.
From Universal, it says, blast into action with Spider-Man. Strap on your 3D glasses and join the world's most famous web slinger on a high-flying adventure. Villains have stolen the Statue of Liberty, and it's up to Spidey to save the day. Face a cast of Marvel characters as you soar above the streets, scale skyscrapers, and battle bad guys left and right. Just watch out for the 400-foot free fall.
It's never a good thing. Yes. So in this, there are quite a bit of some Easter eggs. So you do have Stan Lee makes 3 appearances in the ride. He's in the semi truck and he's in the street by the theater marquee. And at the end, he's there as well. So Stan Lee makes his little cameos in here quite a bit. In it, you'll see and hear J. Jonah Jameson, Doc Ock, Electro, Hydro Man, Hobgoblin, Scream, and there's somebody else I think as well, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Oh, I couldn't think of it. I thought that was it. Is there more?
That may be it. I'm running through the ride in my head. I think that maybe. Oh, you do see Sandman. No, wait, no, you don't. It's
you
just
see
Hydro Man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're right. That was right.
Okay.
Okay. To ride this, you need to be 40 inches tall. And so in this ride as well, the ride vehicles are called scoops.
Scoops.
And they can rotate a full 360 degrees in about 2 seconds. So they can spin really quickly.
And lately, our son has been obsessed with watching POVs of this on YouTube. For whatever reason, he likes Spider-Man already, but he likes watching, especially the first part where Spider-Man's talking to you. So I've heard that over and over and over again lately.
He's ridden this like 4 times, 5 times. And he
Maybe
always
like twice. He's been chickening out lately, but I think he'll ride it next time.
Yeah. Anytime he rode it, he did fine. And then the last time we went to go ride it, he didn't want to. So I'm not really sure as to why. But yeah, it's a great ride.
It's so fun.
When I first went to Universal when I was in 8th grade, this was my favorite ride. I loved it. I still love it.
It's so good.
Still a great ride. They've updated it to supposedly 4K.
So in
graphics?
2012, they did a complete I guess, enhancement, and they redid it. That's when they added Stan Lee.
Yeah.
That's when they changed Spider-Man's look. Like his suit got a little bit more, I guess, sharper, I guess, and not as cartoony. It was more reflective of like current stuff.
Well, the theming in the queue and everything, again, is really good as well. Like when you're going through the queue, it's like you're going through the newsroom.
The Daily Bugle.
Of the Bugle.
Yes.
So you see a lot of stuff there. So it definitely fits in. And they have the old cartoon playing that sets up the scene of what's going on. So it's definitely an animated version of it. So you're not you're not in a quote real world. You're in an animated version of the world.
Absolutely.
So that part I like a lot because I loved the Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh yeah.
So if you're a fan of that, it's good. I mean, a good thing as well. It can have some higher wait times depending on how busy the park is. This is the one in this area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're there on a moderate day, 20 minutes or so, you can get in there. If it's a busy day, you're going to be over an hour for sure.
Middle of the day, like on a weekend, it'll creep up 45 minutes or
Which
higher.
is crazy because this is an over 20-year ride, 20-year-old ride.
But it's so good.
It's a great ride.
And the reason it's so good is, one, because everybody loves Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider-Man's very popular. But two, it does a really good job of integrating 3D effects with physical effects. So like the part, and I don't remember who it is that does it, that throw the fireball.
That would be Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin throws the fireball like on screen, and then you have the physical effect like in the actual ride. It comes out.
There's
like,
there's a couple of scenes that do that with heat. There's Doc Ock has a scene that does that. They have water that'll spray you on Hydro Man.
Yeah.
Electro will shock the car and it'll shake the car. So it's got a lot of, you're right, 3D elements mixed with physical things in there. So
was this one of the first ones, or was this the first one that did this kind of thing?
I couldn't tell you for sure. I would assume so, given
1999.
this was in 99. So, and I remember at the time you went in 99.
Yeah.
I would have been like a year behind you. So we were there right after it opened. And I remember like just I think I rode this ride like 3 times.
Yeah.
And it's always been a big hit. It's always been really popular. So I don't remember specifics back then if it did all that stuff. I would assume it did, but I don't know.
All right. Well, we're not going to talk about just Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
Why not?
Although we could.
Why not?
So that's all the attractions in the land. So now we're going to move on to dining. So there are a couple of quick service places that you can eat at. There's character dining meal, but there's some stands. But first thing we're going to talk about is
there is interplanetary popcorn,
which
that you can get.
Can you guess what's there?
Going to take a wild guess that they have
popcorn.
Various types of popcorn. So they have regular popcorn, souvenir bucket popcorn. You can also get refilled here. They have pretzels, chips. You can get an icy hot dog, and then soda drinks. You can get the freestyle mugs refilled here as well.
I mean, you can go to that cotton candy stand that's like right next to it and pretty much get like the drink stuff. Yeah. I mean, you could go, I don't know, you could probably go both places, but like, I want this and just go pick it up. I'm not sure if they still do that, but because it's like right next to each other. But that is one of the locations of the freestyle cups or freestyle machines.
And you'll find most places like that have that. Like right next to it's a cotton candy, same deal. They got cotton candy there, but they serve basically all the same foods that the interplanetary popcorn does as well.
Yeah.
The main eating place in here would be the Cafe 4.
Yes, and according to Universal, they say, superhero-sized appetite. Tell your hunger, it's clobbering time. Atop of the Baxter Building, the elite supergroup, the Fantastic Four, meets in their prominent headquarters and high-tech laboratory. And on the infamous building's ground floor, you'll find a convenient Italian eatery serving pizza, spaghetti and meatballs, fettuccine, meatball subs, and chicken Caesar salads. And this is where they do the Marvel character dinner. And it's a buffet. You can get one non-alcoholic beverage as well, and you get one digital download of a photo with a character. And this is priced at $52.99 per adult and $29.99 per child. We were actually talking about doing this sometime in the future because I think our kids would really enjoy seeing like Captain America. I don't know. I'm not sure if Spider-Man shows up. I think he does.
Totally just our kids. Totally
just our children. They're the only ones interested.
I in no way, shape, or form would enjoy any of that
I would enjoy it too.
at all. I guess we should, just to be super clear on this, the Cafe 4 and the Marvel character dining are a separate thing. So like the Marvel character dining happens in Cafe 4,
Yeah.
but Cafe 4 is like a quick service place. So you don't, that's the pricing there is just for that character dining. But yeah, I've actually never eaten in Cafe 4 that I remember. May have when I was younger. So we need to go in there and check some stuff out. But from what I've heard, it's just very basic quick service food.
Yes. So moving on to the other places you can eat.
So a lot of little things in here. So you got Auntie Anne's pretzels, which always fantastic, delicious. They have a fruit stand and it has snack and drinks there. You'll find a lot of this stands have a lot of the same snack and drinks for the most part. Some have ices, but they'll all have soda, and most of them will have some beer. But the typical snack foods they'll have there. They have the Chill Ice Cream Shop, and this has ice cream cups and cones, floats, beverages, and things like that. And then they have lemon slush as well. And then the other dining or restaurant you can go into in here is the Captain America Diner. And in here, so there are some pretty good views of the park from this restaurant because it does have like a water.
Yes.
You can sit out there on because there's a lagoon right up.
Which I want to eat here.
So I've been in here. We should eat in here. I've actually, weirdly enough, we were going through this, and I've never, we've never eaten in any of these. And especially, I feel like I need to eat at a Captain America Diner because I feel like that should happen.
I believe I have eaten here when I was a kid. Like it's been a long time, so I don't remember. But
Yeah.
I would love to check it out.
I do know though that you can see Thor throwing his hammer across the restaurant,
which is pretty cool. You can see the Mjolnir. You can see Mjolnir from the outside too. You can see it sticking out.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cute.
Yeah. So it's a really cool theme. I actually prefer this theming over the Fantastic Four one.
Which
it's not as big though. The Fantastic Four one's a little bit bigger.
Is that why the character?
I'm sure it probably is, and it's got more space.
It would make more sense in Captain America Diner, but that's okay. We'll take what we can get, right?
I agree.
And sorry, just to go back to the character dinner, it just returned like back in February, so it has been gone for a couple of years. And
yeah, and we did the Grinch one at Christmas, so that's the only other Universal character dining we've done before.
And we really want them to bring back the Minions breakfast. I
think
it was a Royal Pacific. I think.
Our son will freak out.
He would freak out.
Minions dining. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, so that's all the food because we're not going to really go like huge into the food because there's not really much else to say. So let's go into shopping and other activities.
So much room for activities. Yeah. So in here, you have. So you got quite a bit. Again, a lot of small stuff and some actual place you walk into. So there's a small kiosk on the way to the Hulk.
It's like shirts and
it's like the side stuff, like little
drinks
cups.
And
you see these all kind of all over Universal. Yeah, just a small little thing there. Then, like we mentioned before, there's the Kingpin's Arcade.
Yes, and from Universal they say serious fun for super gamers. The Kingpin, aka the Brainwasher, aka Wilson Grant Fisk, may run the mob with an iron fist, but he can't keep you from beating his machines. Show the vile villain he's met his match by conquering his exciting arcade and video games, from high-speed driving simulations to enticing claw machines and classic favorites.
Yes, it's just an arcade. I guess I themed it, but it's just an arcade. There's nothing in there to me that I didn't even realize until I looked in the building not that long ago. I'm like, oh yeah, the Kingpin's up there, but there's nothing inside of it. It's an arcade.
They just named it.
We did that when our son didn't want to ride Spider-Man and it was raining. We went in here and played for a little bit. So you can get tickets and get little prizes in there, but it's just their typical arcade. But Dr. Doom's throne does sit in there.
Yeah, it does.
Which is pretty cool.
That's a little fun fact for you.
It is a little fun fact. There is also the Marvel Alternaverse store.
Good job.
This was the one that has Wolverine's claws out front.
It has somebody else up there too, but when I'm looking at the picture, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Probably a Storm or something, or not Storm. The girl, with her hair's white.
That would be Rogue.
Rogue. I think Rogue is up there.
I don't know why you just don't ask me these things. I can just tell
you. But I know Wolverine is like right when you can walk in like the corner.
You're basically walking under Wolverine's armpit.
Kinda, yeah.
It's kind of what you do there, which is cool because I love Wolverine. So
yeah,
it's fine.
And so what's cool about this store is like obviously they have like shirts and mugs and backpacks and everything, but you can actually meet Spider-Man in the back. and it's like there's a green screen photo op. And so they give you the photo, which you can buy separately, or if you have the My Universal photo package, you can use that too. But they actually put this on like a Marvel, looks like a comic issue for you, which I think is pretty cool. I want to say it's like $20 to buy it.
I can see that.
Not much it was. We talked about doing it. We're like, we'll wait for our kids.
The thing is, though, if you just give me the picture, I'm good enough with Photoshop. We could just do that ourselves. But you can't have them do it for you.
They wouldn't get to meet him.
Well, so you have to pay to do that, right?
Yeah, you can't just meet him and then. Well, you could do the photo op, but like you just can't buy the picture.
Right, but you could use your phone to take the picture.
I see. That's the thing. You can, but like it's just green.
Right. That's how you do it.
Actually, I don't know if you can use your phone.
You may not be able to. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, they might put a kibosh on that.
We may have to try this out. I don't know the specifics on it because we haven't done it. I just know you can get your picture there with Spider-Man.
Yes, and yeah, I watched somebody do it, and it was cute. Little boy was cute.
And he's a good Spider-Man. It's a good costume and everything. Spider-Man. But yeah. We also have the Spider-Man exit, which is when you come out the Spider-Man ride. This is the shop.
This is big. It says shop.
Yeah.
On the outside of it.
5 and Dime, that's called. So in here is mostly Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
But they do have, a bunch of Marvel themed toys and shirts and all sorts of things.
Lots of Spider-Man. We bought a Spider-Man plush there for our son. He couldn't not have it.
And he loves it. Mm-hmm. He does enjoy it.
He literally was playing with it today, so
yeah,
that's why I remember.
It's Spider-Man. Everybody likes Spider-Man. There's also the Amazing Pictures,
which is like just a place where you just go to a photo backdrop and take pictures, and
you can get different backdrops to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been there for a little bit. So,
and then there's the aptly named Comic Book Shop,
which is is it the biggest one? Yeah, it's probably the biggest gift shop in the land, I'd say.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, they've got the Loungeflies and the shirts and the mugs and keychains, but they also have like collectibles. They have some very higher priced items in there.
I was gonna say they actually have comic books in here.
And comic books.
So you go to the back and they have comic books. You can look. I mean, it's like walking to a comic shop. You can flip through them and see them and check them out, and
like posters and stuff.
And they actually, weirdly enough, and I don't know the whole thing between Universal and Disney and all that, but they actually do sell some MCU stuff in this shop.
Yeah,
because there's like they have some lifelike looking action figures of Chris Hemsworth and Thor and Iron Man, so that are from the movies. So
like Loki stuff was in there from the show, which was
there's a lot of cool stuff in here. If you're a fan of the comics, you could spend a lot of time in here.
And recently, there used to be a little shop next door to the comic book shop. And it was, I think it's changed so much. Like I remember one time it was Oakley. It was just an Oakley store. Mm-hmm. Well, it used to be called Marvel Boutique also, where it was just like women's apparel and Loungeflies. And then it closed and it became like a meet and greet area, which I don't know if you remember that. It used to be where you go in and take pictures.
Yeah.
Well, they closed that. Mm-hmm. And then so they just refigured it to be a part of comic book shop and knocked down that wall. So it's all one thing now.
Yes, you can walk,
which is fine. Which is fine. More shopping, okay, that's fine.
But yeah, if you're looking for Marvel related anything, that's where I would say to go in there because they have tons of stuff.
Yeah,
little. I mean, obviously they have shirts and expensive things, but they even have like keychains and mugs and all sorts of things in there. So you've got the Spider-Man basic shop set up, and then you have this one that kind of has everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then the other one is the meteor crash near the fruit stand.
Yeah. I didn't know this was a thing. I was looking through the whole land, just going like just here and there, just looking through it like on Google Earth. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think that's supposed to be a meteor.
Yeah, it is.
It has like the little pylons or whatever they are, like sticking up with the characters on it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Okay. And apparently, because after I saw that, I did some research, and apparently, like the meteor has apparently had some kind of like powers, which is what changed this superhero island area into what it is.
It usually is a meteor that does that.
Yeah,
if I know anything about meteors,
the powers. Yeah. And I know we just mentioned that they don't do that meet and greet inside area, but other characters do meet outside. Occasionally you'll see like Dr. Doom, or you'll see Captain America, Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, you'll see, like Jimmy said, Captain America, Wolverine, Spider-Man. I think sometimes Rogue makes an appearance. I want to say in the past, but I don't know if that's a current thing.
Well, they used to come out and do that. Like, they come out in, like, motorcycles and cars.
They don't do that anymore.
I haven't seen them do it in a long time.
It's been a bit. I was going to say they used to do a midday little parade.
It wasn't even a parade. They just came out and started talking to people, and it was music.
But they would ride like four-wheelers.
Yeah.
I remember it was weird. You see Captain America on a four-wheeler. Then you'd see Wolverine on one. But
I don't know. I don't know if they still do that.
if they do, we've been there numerous times throughout the day and hasn't seen any of it. So if they do it, it must be at a specific time. I don't know.
Probably late morning. A couple times.
Yeah. So if they still do it, your best shot would be late morning, early afternoon, I would say. But the character you can't, like, we've met Captain America before. Got a picture with him. And I think Cyclops was there, and I'm trying to think who else. It does have a small rotation, but the main people want is Captain America, Wolverine, and Spider-Man. Those are the main ones that people want pictures with. If Doctor Doom's ever out there when I'm there, I want a picture because Doctor Doom's awesome.
Okay. And he's in purple, right?
No. He is green.
Oh, he's green.
Doctor Doom's all metal, and then he has the green cape.
Oh, okay. Well, who's in purple in the Fantastic Four? Who's purple?
In Fantastic Four?
Well, what am I? I'm thinking of somebody dressed in purple. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Fantastic Four is Invisible Girl.
Wait, is Cyclops purple?
Cyclops in this land has he wears like a long trench coat.
That's what I'm thinking of.
That must be you're thinking of, yeah.
That's it.
It's not like his normal getup in the comics. It's like a long trench coat with his glasses that he has.
Got it. Okay.
I was like, I can't think of anybody in Fantastic Four what you're thinking, but yeah.
Sorry. One other thing that is not really anything to take note of, but between Captain America Diner and the ice cream shop, there's a little area that is like vacation planning.
Yes, they do have
It's like a little kiosk thing.
And there is Easter eggs. Like there's an Easter egg of Daredevil in this land.
Where is that?
It is over by the Captain America Diner, I think, but it says up there like you'll see Matthew Murdock, Law, and like different things.
No, isn't it on the Alternaverse shop? Because like right across.
It
from
could be.
Kingpin?
I can't remember exactly. Probably. I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is little Easter eggs here and there. There's Thor on one of the. In this land, you have giant cutouts of the characters, which I actually like.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got like Wolverine, a giant Captain America. You got Thor. You got Iron Man. You got Rogue, Magneto. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
There's Osborn Laboratories.
Yes,
or something
that's from Spider-Man.
It's in the window of the Villain Alley area.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. All like notable things that you'd see in comics.
Yeah. Oh, the other character you see sometimes is Storm. She's been out there before.
Yeah,
there's another character as well. So, there's you can find all sorts. If you know the comics well, you can see all sorts of little Easter eggs here and there that are in there.
So we have a few tips, and we can kind of expand on this if you want to, but we have some tips for navigating this land the most efficiently, in our opinion. So
yes, well, the first one would be Hulk and Spider-Man they will have the biggest lines in this land. So if you want to ride those, do them early.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would say
depends on crowd level, but I mean, again, Spider-Man. If it's a really busy day, it's going to have lines. But if it's not a super busy day, this one lately doesn't have a terrible line. But I would still say do it early just in case. And then later in the day, if you want to write it again, if it's low weight, then, go for it.
Yeah. There are a couple of phones, like telephones, around the land that say messages. Like if you pick up the phone and listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know there's two. I know one is right by the cotton candy place, but I cannot remember for the life of me where the other one is. So, but it looks, it's just like a little pole, and it's very like.
I think it's out there by Spider-Man.
Is it by Spider-Man?
I'm pretty sure it's down there by Annie and
it's by the it's like right by the queue, like the outside queue.
Yeah.
Is it over there?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, so pick up the phone and listen.
You never know what you're going to hear.
I know.
Somebody giving you a new mission. You never know.
Right.
Another one. This was interesting, and I don't know if I've ever noticed this just without knowing this, but the buildings in the land are painted with a special kind of paint to change colors depending on how the sunlight hits it at certain angles. So it'll look a little different at like sunsets, especially, or like midday or morning. So it can kind of look a little different. If you look at pictures, you can tell. It's not drastic, but you can tell.
Yeah, just a little subtletiness over there. Do you have any other tips that you can think of?
Well, it's not huge.
it's a small land. It's pretty small.
They do have. There's a manhole cover, I guess you would say, that says Marvel Superhero Island on it when you're in there. Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of Easter. Again, this is built in like 99. So at that time, theming for lands is a little different now than it is current day. So a lot of this is, like Spider-Man is a great ride, still holds up. Obviously, Hulk is a popular ride. But a lot of these, the Teacups Type 1 and the Doctor Doom, they're basically just carnival rides with themes on them, sort of thing. So it's on a street. You go through there, so it's not a whole lot to it. You can walk through it. I mean, if you don't stop and you walk through this land, it would take you 2-3 minutes if you just straight walk through it.
Yeah,
it's
real fast.
It's not huge, but it is cool. Like I like where Spider-Man's exit. They make it sort of look like Metropolis or a city from the comics and things like that. I know Spider-Man's not Metropolis. I'm just using that as a thing, but he's New York and Brooklyn. But
Jared,
I'm gonna get yelled at about that one.
Get yelled at.
I was thinking Superman for some reason, but yeah. I mean, other than obviously rope dropping. If you want to go in here and do that, if you're a fan of the comics, the stores are really cool. They have a lot of cool stuff in there. You could spend a lot of time checking out stuff in there. And again, they do have some stuff from the MCU, so you never know what you might find in there if you want to, get some authentic MCU type stuff as well.
Yeah.
Anything you can think of?
I don't think so.
They do have that Fantastic Four car that's outside of the restaurant.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything really. It's a decent photo op for kids.
It needs to
or
be
adults.
It needs to be repainted.
There needs to be something else. You just sit there. I think you can push some buttons on it, but it doesn't really do anything. You just sit there and do that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we enjoy this land a lot. Obviously, we've been since we were kids, and it's held a lot of nostalgia for me. Just not even because of the superhero part, but just because I've been there so much as a kid. So
yeah,
I love it.
It's got bright colors, kind of like you'd think of in the comics in the 90s. But again, it's not like you could spend all day in this land. This is very much you ride some stuff in here, a couple hours, you'd probably be pretty good. But again, if you're a fan of the 90s cartoons and the comics, I think you'll like this. And it's cool. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Well, that is all for our Deep Dive 101 Marvel Superhero Island talk.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you want to mention?
I don't. I just want the shield.
Okay.
I want Captain America's shield. But do they? I bet they do. I haven't even checked. Maybe they do have a shield in there you could buy.
I don't know.
Actually, you know what? I bet they don't. I bet they don't want people walking around with a giant shield.
Maybe not.
Just thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening to our little spiel about this wonderful land.